What's on, ladies and gentlemen? My name's Ross, I like games, and today we need to look at another winning list coming out from BT11. You see, another card which I thought looked kind of fun and was very much worth having a look at was BlackWargreymon X-Antibody. Not such a huge fan of quite how long the name of that Digimon is. I'm quite a big fan of the Digimon itself. Now, Kamishiro7791 went and did a win with this in a little tournament over in Japan. So I thought it might be nice to use this as a bit of a starting point. There have been a bunch of these decks I've seen doing the rounds, and remember, when I do these videos, I'm not saying, hi, this is the perfect deck list. I'm saying, hey, this seems like a pretty nice place to start. So, with all that borne in mind, I think a pretty good place to start is probably having a little bit of a look at the Digitama. Now, we do have the classic thing here, that is to say a 4-1 split of Digitama, 4 of one and 1 of another, and the 4 of we've got here is the Hopmon from EX2. If you've got a Black Tamer in play, this Digimon gets 1,000 power. Obviously, we've got a bunch of Black Tamers we will be playing. That's quite nice. We do have room for one more, though. And the one we've got here is the Doraemon from BT7. On your turn, once per turn, when one of your effects places a Digivolution card under this Digimon, draw a card. Perfect? No. No, it's not. Good? Yeah. Yeah, that'll do quite nicely, I think. Now, starting off with level 3s, we've got ourselves some nice Agumon action going on. So we've got regular Agumon here. This is, of course, the one from BT8. When you play, reveal the top 4 cards of your deck, add a Digimon with Greymon in its name and a Digimon with Dragonkin in its type to your hand. We see these kind of cards all the time. They're really good. They see a bunch of play. This is very, very nice. But we've also got Agumon X-Antibody here as well. Now, this is the one that originally came around in BT11, i.e. it's brand new. Digivolves as a 0 cost from Agumon, always nice. And when you play or Digivolve, reveal the top 3 cards in the deck. Add a card with Greymon or X-Antibody in its name and a Black Tamer to your hand. So just like with the Agumon here, you're searching stuff out. And then on all turns, while this Digimon has Greymon or Omnimon in its name, and an effect would delete it or return it to its hand or deck, you may return an X-Antibody in this Digimon's Digivolution cards to the bottom of its owner's deck to prevent it from leaving play. That is the option card, X-Antibody, and don't worry, we'll get there in a minute, but yes, we are obviously playing a full play set of them. That honestly seems like the kind of thing we probably should be doing. Now, we do have a couple of Tapiamon here. This is the one from BT9. 2 copies of this, and on all turns, if this Digimon has 2 or more colours, it gains 1,000 power. And you can already see what we're doing here. We are building up the power here. We are building up and becoming quite a nice big Digimon, quite frankly. Seems alright to me. And then finally here we've got the Doraemon from BT7. When you play it, reveal the top 3 cards of your deck. Add a card with X-Antibody in its type and a Kota the Motu from among them to your hand, which is quite nice. And then an inheritable skill. When you place a card under this Digimon as a Digivolution card, gain a memory. So yay! Bunch of nice options. But moving up into level 4s, it is very, very much a Greymon party. We're basically just playing around with Greymon here. That's not a bad thing. Just telling you we're playing around with a bunch of Greymon. So we've got the Greymon that came around in BT8. While you have a red Digimon in play, as an inheritable skill, it gains Blocker, which is quite frankly none too shabby. Can also Digivolve from red, but that is irrelevant in this particular deck. And then we've also got ourselves a couple of the Greymon that came around a little bit earlier in BT2. While this Digimon has Reboot, it also gains Jamming. Can't be deleted in battles with Security Digimon. Obviously a very nice thing indeed. And since we're playing around with them, we might as well play around with a Greymon X-Antibody. Now this one is interesting because unlike Agumon X-Antibody, the evolution cost has increased. So it's not a 2 cost like the other Greymon, it's now a 3 cost, which is obviously relevant. but it can Digivolve from Greymon as a 0 cost. So you know what? Yeah, that'll do, ladies and gentlemen. That'll do. Worth pointing out, this one is also from BT11, another brand new card. So it Digivolves as a 0 cost from Greymon, and on your turn, when this Digimon would Digivolve into a card with Greymon in its name, reduce the Digivolution cost by 1 for each colour of that card. I.e., if you Digivolve into a multicolour level 5, and spoiler alert, all the level 5s here are multicolour, then that means that it's a 2-colour card, so you're reducing the cost by 2. That's ridiculous. And you don't have to pay to get from Greymon into this. And on all turns, as an inheritable skill, when this Digimon has Greymon or Omnimon in its name, and an effect would delete it or return it to your hand or deck, you may return an X-Antibody in this Digimon's Digivolution cards to the bottom of its owner's deck to prevent it from leaving play. So again, we've got that X-Antibody option card giving you a little bit of a reprieve, which is clearly a very, very good thing. So like I say, moving up into level 5 then, what we've got is just a whole bunch, we've got 2 different dual colour cards that fit this very nicely indeed. So, and actually, to be fair, they're both Metal Greymon. Yeah, sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. So we've got the Metal Greymon from BT8. When Digivolving, you Digivolve one of your opponent's Digimon, that is to say, trash the top card of their stack, and then delete an opponent's Digimon with 3,000 power or less. Does not have to be the same one. And then, on your turn, as an inheritable skill, while this Digimon has Dragonkin or Machine in its traits, it can also attack your opponent's unsuspended Digimon. So you'll notice this is one of those decks where we're just trying to go up to the level 6. We've got all these big inheritable skills, getting jamming, attacking unsuspended Digimon, etc, etc, etc. And what we're trying to do here is make sure that with this big Digimon that can basically do anything you want to do. Which honestly sounds like a pretty good thing to me. And also, you know, attacking unsuspended Digimon is pretty awesome. And then we've got Metal Greymon X-Antibody. Again, these new X-Antibodies are from BT11. It can Digivolve as a 1 cost from Metal Greymon, but it is also just a 4 cost to Digivolve level 4, like Metal Greymon, so it can just work as an ordinary level 5. And when Digivolving until the end of your opponent's turn, your opponent's effects cannot reduce this Digimon's power and can't de-Digivolve it. Then, if this Digimon has Metal Greymon or X-Antibody in its Digivolution cards, delete one of your opponent's Digimon with 6,000 power or less. So we're going after the smaller Digimon with Metal Greymon and Metal Greymon X-Antibody. This is good. Oh yeah, and on your opponent's turn, once per turn, when a Digimon becomes unsuspended, if this Digimon's name contains Greymon or Omnimon, trash the top card of your opponent's security. It's one of the new things in the deck that makes it into a top tier deck. The fact that you're just trashing the top card of your opponent's security, which seems like a pretty good thing. Now, moving over into level 6s, we only actually have one BlackWargreymon, just kind of like as it is. Now, don't worry, we've got others. But in terms of just pure BlackWargreymon, we're actually rocking just the one. And I do mean that very literally. We're talking about one copy of one BlackWargreymon. It is the one we saw coming around back in BT8. When Digivolving, if there's a red card in your Digivolution cards, you can choose your opponent's Digimon. If there's a black card, you can choose their Tamers, and you should have both. And delete any number of the chosen cards whose total play cost adds up to 6 or less. So you're going after Tamers and Digimon, and that's a good thing. And then on all turns, once per turn, when your opponent's Digimon are deleted, you can unsuspend this Digimon. So you should be unsuspending basically during, like, both turns, which is quite nice, honestly. I mean, sure, they have to get deleted on their turn, but that might well happen. You never know, ladies and gentlemen. You never know. So that's kind of good, but it's not the focus. The other level 6 we've got here is your Gaiamon. Now, this is one from BT9. It Digivolves as a 2 cost from BlackWargreymon, if you like. It is treated as having Greymon in its name, which, as we've seen, is incredibly important from a lot of the inheritable skills we've seen. They wouldn't count for Gaiamon, but they do count because you've got Greymon in your name. And you've got Security Attack +1. And you've got Reboot. And when Digivolving, if you've got a black Digimon, you Digivolve 1 to one of your opponent's Digimon. If you've got a red Digivolution card, you Blitz. If you've got both, you do both, and you should. And then you've got all of your other inheritable skills you should be having in here as well. It's really rather wonderful. And then, of course, we've got the aforementioned BlackWargreymon X-Antibody. Long name, lots of good stuff you can do. Now, this can just Digivolve as a 5-cost level 6. No more expensive than Gaiamon, to be fair. Is a bit more expensive than BlackWargreymon. And what we've got here is it Digivolves as a 2-cost from BlackWargreymon. And it's got Reboot. And on your opponent's turn, once per turn, when your opponent's Digimon with the highest power attacks, you can switch the target to this Digimon instead. And on your opponent's turn, once per turn, when a Digimon becomes unsuspended, if you've got BlackWargreymon or the option card X-Antibody in your Digivolution cards, you can delete one of your opponent's Digimon with the lowest play cost. You will notice what we're doing here over and over is just getting rid of those little Digimon. You saw it on BlackWargreymon, you saw it on BlackWargreymon X-Antibody, you saw it on BlackWargreymon, you're seeing it on this, you're seeing it all over the shop. And you're whittling away at their little Digimon, just taking away their options, and that's kind of fun for you, kind of annoying for them. Oh yeah, and then we finish off with an Omnimon X-Antibody. I know, another one of those ones. Just the one copy here, to be fair, so you're not going to be using it as your focus of your deck in every single game, but it's still a very, very nice option to have. And what we've got here is a rather big Digimon, can Digivolve as a free cost from Omnimon, but having said that, we're not playing any Omnimon, so that's kind of irrelevant. We've got, when a Digimon with X-Antibody in its Digivolution cards would Digivolve into this, reduce the cost by 2, that should be happening. When Digivolving, you return all of your opponent's Digimon with the highest level to the bottom of their owner's deck in any order, bearing in mind you're already going after their little ones. And when Digivolving or attacking once per turn, by placing an X-Antibody or level 6 card from this Digimon's Digivolution cards to the bottom of its owner's deck, reveal all of your opponent's security, and trash one as you like. So you're not just trashing a security, you're trashing the security they would really want to come out as a security. That's pretty brilliant. Yeah, this seems pretty good. It's the kind of thing that isn't going to come out every game, but when it does come out, it is going to give you a huge advantage. Now, we do have a couple of black Tamers here. We have got ourselves a couple copies of Maki Himekawa from BT9. On play, reveal 3 cards on the top of your deck. Add a Tapiamon and a 2-color card with black to your hand. So again, that's more search. You're only playing 2 Tapiamon, you're not going to hit it all the time, but you can hit it, and you can hit a 2-color. That's wonderful. And on your turn, when your Digimon Digivolves into a Digimon with 2 or more colors, including black, you can suspend this Tamer to reduce the cost by 1. And bearing in mind that's going to happen from your level 4s upwards, this is a very, very good thing indeed. We've also got ourselves a couple copies of the Yuya Kuga from BT11. It's one of those ones that says if you start your turn with 2 or less memory, set it to 3. And on your turn, when one of your Digimon Digivolves into a Digimon with Greymon in its name, you can suspend this Tamer to give that Digimon an extra 2,000 power until the end of your opponent's turn. If you Digivolves into a same level Digitama, i.e. you went into your X-Antibody from the same Digimon, as we've got in your level 3s, your level 4s, your level 5s, and your level 6s here, then that Digimon isn't affected by effects of your opponent's option cards until the end of your opponent's turn. So you can see why they fit very, very nicely into this particular deck. We've then got Cool Boy. On play, reveal 3 cards on the top of your deck, add a Digimon with X-Antibody in its traits and an option card with X-Antibody in its traits to your hand. And we've seen how much you need X-Antibody in this deck, so that's really good to help you find it. And on your turn, when one of your Digimon Digivolves into a Digimon of the same level with X-Antibody in its traits, so like we've said, there's X-Antibody cards we're playing here, you can suspend this Tamer to gain a memory and draw a card. Which, I don't know, that sounds pretty good to me, ladies and gentlemen. That sounds pretty good to me indeed. Now, in terms of option cards, obviously we're playing 4 copies of X-Antibody. We've already seen all the different ways that this can be useful. And it's a 0-cost card. If you have a Digimon in play, you can use it ignoring color requirements. As a security, you gain a memory and add it to your hand. As a main, you can place it as a bottom Digivolution card of any of your Digimon that doesn't already have X-Antibody. No ifs, buts, or maybes. If it doesn't have one, chuck it under. And then, as inheritable skills, X-Antibody can't be trashed from these Digivolution cards by card effects. And when attacking, you can Digivolve this Digimon into a Digimon in your hand with X-Antibody in its traits by paying its Digivolution cost. This is good, ladies and gentlemen, and we've already seen all the different ways this is actually going to work pretty gosh darn nicely. Now, we do have a big option card here as well. It is Hades Force. Now, it's a 7 cost, but when you use this card, if you have a Digimon with the card X-Antibody, that is the option card, in its Digivolution cards in play, it becomes a 5 cost. And you choose any number of your opponent's Digimon and Tamers, whose total play cost adds up to the play cost of one of your Digimon with Greymon in its name, and delete them. Oh yeah, and then if one of your Digimon with Greymon in its name can attack your opponent. Nice. And bearing in mind, Gaimon is a 13 cost with Greymon in its name, and BlackWargreymon X-Antibody is a 13 cost with Greymon in its name. This is very, very good. In this particular deck, this is very, very good indeed. And then as we see in a bunch of decks, we've got ourselves a little bit of a memory boost coming in here. We've just got ourselves a black memory boost. Yay! It's not the most exciting one ever, but it is a very useful card. When you play, reveal the top 4 cards of your deck, grab a black Digimon, and then it goes into your main area on a delay to gain 2 memory. Nice. That'll work. Here's the deck as a whole. This is one of those where you're just building up lots of inheritable skills and then smashing with big level 6s. That does not mean you can't have some fun along the way, because these inheritable skills don't just come in with the level 6s. Many of them come in earlier. And these are very, very good. We've got combos aplenty, and basically these new X-Antibody cards from BT11 have gone and made BlackWargreymon even better. But now it's over to you guys. I want to know what you think about this. I want to know how excited you are. I want to know if this is on your list of decks to test. So let me know in the comment section, would you? Go nuts! Be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at the Wossy. That's where we talk Digimon card games, all kinds of fun things. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts, all kinds of fun things. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching Wossy Plays.